Welcome to Pico Playtime, the video series where I play through some cool Pico 8 games to show to you lovely people. It's a special video today. This is my best of 2022 list. I did a list last year for the best of 2021 and a few games from earlier. This year we've got another best of list, and I'm going to have having 10 games in my list plus 3 honourable mentions. So, the rationale behind this. Each game that I pick will just be by a unique developer, if that makes sense. So there's not going to be 2 games by the same developer. That actually made it quite difficult this year because a couple of the developers, there's at least 2 games I could have picked from each of them. So if you see your favourite Pico 8 developer in this list, you're not going to see any more games from them, just to keep things somewhat fair. I haven't got any categories in this list either. This is the same as my video last year, if you're wondering. So I'm not going to have like this is the best jam game of the year or this is the best multicart game of the year. This is just my favourite games of the year. I've tried to pick a mixture of genres, so even though I might have a preference for certain genres, I've tried to kind of pick a mix to kind of best represent what Pico 8 has to offer from 2022. So hopefully not too many of the same genres going to pop up. Hopefully. I'm not going to do any ranking. The games will just be in alphabetical order. I had a hard time narrowing this down to 10. That's why I've got 3 honourable mentions, so I'm not going to be doing any ranking within that. Their games are going to be in alphabetical order. You can play at home trying to work out what games are going to come up next. All these games this year are from 2022. The video I did last year, a few of the games were from earlier on. I only started this channel last year, I think. So I had some catching up to do. This year, most of the games that I've done this year have been from this year, now that I think about it. And this was such a strong year for Pico 8, it wasn't hard to just pick games from this released this year to feature in my list. So, in kind of summary of the year, 2022 was an extraordinarily strong year for Pico 8. So many good games were released kind of throughout the year, really. The first, or one of the games that I'm going to be looking at was one of the first games that I reviewed of 2022. You can probably guess what that one might be. So right the way from January through to December, so many good games this year. What I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly get through the honourable mentions, and then after that I'm going to have a kind of short playthrough of each game that's kind of made my main list. So this is going to be a long video, but there's going to be lots of very good games. I'm going to put all links and things and all the information I can think of in the description if you're looking for any more information on any of these games. And I have made videos for each of these games as well. They've all been featured in their own video. So if any games particularly take your fancy, why don't you give the other videos a look then? So, on to honourable mentions. My first honourable mention is Captain Nito in the Time Nexus by the developer called Paranoid Cactus. This was made for Toy Box Jam earlier in the year and is a kind of platformer Metroidvania game. Paranoid Cactus always makes great games. What particularly impressed me about this game was the very polished gameplay. It was so smooth to play, so kind of just easy to play, fun and enjoyable, and it made really good use of the Toy Box Jam game assets that everyone had to use for that jam. So really good example of a very good Pico 8 jam game. Go and check it out. My second honourable mention is Cherry Bomb by the developer called Christman. I couldn't have this list without a shmup in there, and Cherry Bomb has been my favourite shmup this year. Shoot 'em up. Go and check out this game. It's only a short Pico 8 game. It's got just the right amount of difficulty for a shmup. Very accessible. And it's also got a video tutorial series. So if you're interested in getting into making Pico 8 games, you can make your own version of Cherry Bomb. I've done a video on that already where I've kind of talked at length about how the tutorial video series kind of worked. Go and check that out, and go and check out Cherry Bomb and other games by Christman. My third honourable mention is Rampaging by Play Medusa, which is a kind of remake or demake or port, whatever you want to call it, of Rampage, the classic arcade game. I kind of wanted to pick this in my list as a kind of honourable mention, just to kind of represent the number of demakes and ports and whatnot that get brought to Pico 8, where people remake a game from another system and bring it to Pico 8. And I thought Rampaging did that really faithfully and it was just a really well-made arcade game. Really fun game. Go and check that out. Okay then, we're getting into our main list now. So this is where my editing skills, my video editing skills are hopefully going to come in, because trying to do this in a single take last year was an absolute nightmare. So let's get on with the games then. Okay, our first game is Ascent by JohanP, as you may have guessed by the screen over to my left. This was made for low-res jam. JohanP is one of the best Pico 8 developers. Every game he makes is so good. And yeah, this is a Metroidvania. So not only have we got our first jam game on here, we've got our first Metroidvania on here. What we have to do in this game is look through or explore this kind of alien world that we've landed on, recover these kind of spirit things, gain new powers, those are little restarts there, and yeah, explore the world. We are weak, our power lost, take us to the core. So this is a short Metroidvania game. It's got really good level design in it. You notice it's in Pico 8's lower resolution, the 64 pixels by 64. One of the main limitations of Pico 8 is the resolution. The standard resolution for Pico 8 is 128 pixels by 128 pixels. Now that is a very small resolution to start with. This is done in 64 by 64, so a quarter of that space is available to you, or a quarter of that usual space. What that means is you have to be very careful about what information you put on the screen. You don't have a lot of room for much text in games in this resolution. It's a particular design challenge. You've got special constraints. So this first path we picked up here, this is the climbing ability. There's more abilities that we unlock as we proceed through. You can see here there are some kind of vines that are kind of restricting our path. The further we play in, the more ways we get to explore, and the further we can get in the game. So it's your typical Metroidvania gameplay. All the kind of platform mechanics are in place. The jumping feels great. We've got lovely little bits of sprite animation. One of the things that I've been looking at in games, particularly this year, is kind of the animation of the sprites. Pico 8 doesn't make that very easy. You don't have a lot of room in the Pico 8, in a standard Pico 8 sprite sheet, to have lots and lots of animation. So anywhere you see animation, it's good to see that, basically. The graphics in this game in general are really nice. It's a really good use of the Pico 8 palette. The tiles just look so nice. It's such a nice looking game, which is all the more remarkable considering it's made at that lower resolution. Not an easy feat to accomplish. I'm going to play a little bit more of this game because I want to explore a little bit further, and also I want to listen to this amazing music. Such a nice little ditty we've got there. Oh dear, fall damage is a part of this game. I've not been paying attention, and I have no recollection as to where I'm supposed to go next. I think I might need to go down, maybe. It's hard to say. Pico 8 doesn't allow for kind of enormous, sprawling level designs without using trickery and jiggery-pokery. So this game makes a really good use, again, of the kind of standard Pico 8 kind of map size. A lot of Pico 8 games, especially Metroidvanias, there's a lot of Metroidvanias on Pico 8 just because of how well the kind of system lends itself to that genre. They all have a kind of very similar level size, which kind of keeps games kind of manageable. You're not going to get any terrifically kind of epic kind of platformer games on Pico 8, just because of the constraints of the level design. So what that means is, as a level designer, as a game designer, you've really got to cram in all the ideas you want to get into your game. You've got to cram them all in to quite a limited space. This game does that really well. There are multiple areas that you get to explore with different kind of tile sets, a different look to it all. And just the level layout is such that you get a sense of exploration. So here's one of the new areas that we get to explore. Makes the game's worlds feel a lot bigger than they might actually be. When you actually look at the cart data kind of behind the scenes, you can see how small the game worlds actually are. So for this game to kind of have that big epic feel. That's good. That's good game design. So yeah, as we advance further and further, we get to unlock new abilities. So we've got a kind of stomp ability now, which I completely failed to use there. Let's try that again. This is like the opposite of a double jump, and it lets us kind of get to those areas that we were not able to access before because of the fall damage. So again, another thing that I like to see is a little bit of kind of innovation in Metroidvanias. There's so many Metroidvanias now. It's such a crowded genre, and a lot of them have even the absolute best ones have a lot of the same mechanics. Double jump, my nemesis double jump, wall jump, and double jump's kind of irritating cousin. So it's nice to see a game, a Metroidvania, with some different abilities in by default. This stomp ability, the closest thing I can think of is, if you've played Sonic Mania, Mighty the Armadillo, he has a kind of similar move, but it doesn't work the same as it does in this game. So, nice to see a little bit of innovation in the Metroidvania space. Fantastic. Anyway, this is Ascent by JohanP. I'm not going to have time to play through any of these games, so I'm just going to have to move on, I'm afraid. But yeah, check this game out. It's so good. And it was made for a jam as well, so this was basically made in 2 weeks. Incredible. Right then, next game. Next up is Downstream Dream by Ridgekuhn, also known as Ross J. Kuhn. You can find them on various social media websites. So, Downstream Dream, let's get into it then. This is a fantastic kind of racing simulation. You're in a dinghy, okay? It's not really a simulation, it's more kind of arcadey. Anyway, one of the reasons I wanted to select this game is because of kind of general levels of kind of polish, graphical jiggery-pokery. Notice how the action is kind of zooming out as we go faster. That is not easy to do on Pico 8. Besides the fantastic graphics, the gameplay's not bad as well. You have to kind of roll down a river, as you can see, avoiding turtles and drink cans and rocks. And yeah, you're kind of in a race. I'm doing exceptionally badly here because, well, I'm usually pretty bad at talking and playing at the same time. But yeah, this is such a nice game. The music, as you can hear in the background there, is fantastic. Such a lovely little kind of melody playing there. Yep, I'm in third place. Can I get into second? Maybe. You can hurl cans at your competitors in front of you, and they can leave, I think they can like leave tortoises, or turtles rather, behind to kind of slow them down. So it's kind of got karting, kind of like Mario Kart, kind of similar gameplay to that, I suppose, in a way, but we are in a dinghy. The graphics in this game then, the zooming in and out, that's particularly clever. There's some enormous sprites in here as well. You can see the kind of rock face. That's all moving lovely and smoothly. There's a parallax background there. There's a lot of very clever things going on with the graphics in this game, and everything is so smooth and well presented that you might not even notice the graphics, but just trust me that it's very clever. Yeah, the gameplay, oh, it's so much fun. You can see you can wang drinks cans at people in front. There's a little hint telling you where to kind of hint. And as you can see, we've got a boss. The game just randomly turns into a bit of a shmup. So I suppose this is another shmup on my list. Oh dear, we're not doing very well against this bear here. Oh, we're in first place though. That's good. Oh no, no. Oh, and the music just carries on. Oh, it's so smooth. There's a lovely story behind this game as well. This entire game is kind of based on a fond childhood memory of the developer. Go and watch the full video for a little bit more info on that. It's really nice. The games have a good little backstory about them, and yeah, this is such a good game. This is one of those Pico 8 games where if I was going to show somebody kind of what Pico 8 is kind of capable of, and what kind of games you get on Pico 8, this is a fantastic example of that. Not only does it kind of stretch the kind of technical limitations of the platform, but it's a lovely kind of quirky little game that you just don't necessarily see on other systems so much. One of the kind of key phrases that is often, or key words is often thrown about relating to Pico 8 is coziness. This is a very cozy game, isn't it? And yeah, fantastic arcade action. Give it a look. That was actually nicely came to an end there. I'm gonna try and do 5 minutes ish on each game, but if I start a new game now, then I'm gonna be this video is gonna be a week long. So Downstream Dream by Ridgekuhn, check it out and follow him on Twitter because he keeps dropping absolute bangers of Pico 8 music. Yeah, fantastic work. Great game. Check it out. Right, what's next? Next is... It's Freezing Nights by TinyEvilWizard with music by O'Curtain. So this was one of the last games to get added into my list. This was released just a couple of weeks ago, right at the end of December 2022. It's a fantastic game. By the time you get to this, there may have been some updates to it. As you can see, it's version 1.0.3. I think I played an earlier version on my video, so this thing is getting added to anyway. So let's get into the game. Let's get focused first. There we go. So this is a kind of, I've called it a kind of tactical RPG. It's kind of got, it's like, you'll see what it is. Let's see if I can continue my game. Let's press the right button. There we go. It's a multi-cart game, this. So I think this is the first multi-cart game that I have talked about so far. Yes, I think it is. I don't think Downstream Dream's multi-cart. I think this is a debut game as well. So I think this is TinyEvilWizard's first Pico 8 game. Fantastic. It's a tactical kind of RPG. It's like the Final Fantasy, Breath of Fire, you name it, JRPG, Phantasy Star. That's the other one that I always want to mention because I love that series. It's a JRPG battle system, kind of gauntlet. There isn't any RPG in, it's just the battle system, which works great for me. As you can see, between battles, we have a little upgrade system here, where we can upgrade our little knights. Let's see, what can I afford to get? I think I want to get upgrades, because this is like my playthrough from the end of the last video. So I'm already a little bit of a way into the game. What have we got? Buying potions. Can I afford anything? No. I think I've spent everything, haven't I? No, there we go. I've obviously already done my upgrades. It's fine. Yeah. What is there to highlight in this game? Well, for a start, did you notice how easy it was for me to navigate this this menu system? It's so polished, this game. Pretty much every game that I'm going to be talking about today in this video are very kind of polished Pico 8 games. These are the sorts of games that I can show to somebody if they've never touched Pico 8 before and say, this is what Pico 8 is all about. And I don't want to send to them a kind of rough and ready, rough around the edges game that doesn't feel finished. I want to send them games that feel finished. The best thing about Pico 8, the best Pico 8 games feel like real finished games. They don't feel like some kind of indie thing that someone's made in their spare time. They feel like commercial level games. This game feels like that. All the games featured today feel like that. Anyway, let's show you some of the action then. You can upgrade both knights. I haven't mentioned, this is a two-player game as well. You've got local co-op on this. Again, highlighting some of the features that Pico 8 has that you might not necessarily know about. Pico 8 supports 2 players. Let's show you some of the battle system. So, as you can see, I've already made a little bit of progress through the game. This is our kind of strategy map, if you like. It's kind of like a gauntlet system, so we kind of move along just a series of battles. There's boss battles as well. Each kind of area leading up to a boss has a kind of theme to it, where you'll see a certain selection of enemies, and new enemies are kind of introduced throughout the game. There's such good kind of design and kind of progression in this game as well. Pico 8 games don't always have, I'll just get off this title screen, this map screen rather, so I can show you the gameplay. Pico 8 games are not very large by nature. Oh, the music. Oh, I keep getting interrupted by good things, don't I? I'm just going to turn the music down a little bit. Oh, it's already set very low. I'm just going to turn my speakers down then, just so I can hear. Pico 8 games by their nature are not overly big. That's the whole point of the system. It's very small, cozy little games, you might say. So when you have games like this that manage to incorporate a kind of sense of a sense of progression and kind of depth to the game as well. Oh, I'm forgetting how to play this game. It's really nice to see basically when you can get kind of big games or big feeling games. This game achieves that with its kind of in-depth upgrade system, the variety of enemies and the variety of kind of graphics and tile sets that are included as well. This, let me just check my notes. This is a multi-cart game. I sounded so sure of myself then, didn't I? Yeah, this is a multi-cart game, so the data is spread over several Pico 8 carts, which lets the developer squeeze in more than you would normally get in a Pico 8 game, but you still have those limitations in effect. So, yeah, it still counts, is what I'm saying. Oh, there we go, we've got him. The different upgrades that you can get in this game, I've got the fire one here. Each upgrade does give the does radically change, if you like, how the game plays. So there are multiple kind of strategies that you could use to get through this game. I'm not sure if my strategy's not working at the moment. That's a flying enemy, and this guy's nearly dead. We need to heal. Oh, I did that wrong. Whoops. Oh. There's a kind of Mario... There's a Mario RPG element to this where you dodge attacks by actually jumping or evading the attacks kind of in real time. So it's got a really interesting mixture of kind of turn-based and kind of real-time kind of gameplay. It's just really good. Check it out. You can hear those banging tunes in the background as well. Again, this feels like it could be a port or a demake of a SNES game. It's got that feel to it. SNES for any North Americans watching. In the UK, we call it a SNES or Super Famicom. We don't call it Super Famicom. The SNES, the Nintendo console from the 90s, the early 90s. Anyway, this is such a nice game. You need to go and check it out. It's really in-depth, tactical RPG, turn-based JRPG. I'm just throwing genres at you here. It's that. It's really fun. It's really cute, and you can play it with a friend. It's a local co-op game. Highly recommended. Go and check it out. Next up is Ghost Detective by the developer called Snowbird. This is kind of one of my left field choices. A lot of the Pico 8 games that you're going to see in this list are games that if you look down the timeline at hashtag Pico 8, you will see a lot of the games I have picked this year. This one might have gone under a few people's radar. I think this is a really cool game. I enjoyed it a lot. It caught me by surprise, and that's always nice. It's a kind of adventure detective game. Adventure. It's like an adventure game, a sort of adventure detective game. What things I liked about this are the presentation. You can see it's got a kind of... Oh, I think I racked my brain over this. Is this a 2-bit style? Because we've got, like, 4 colours? Yeah? 2-bit. I'm going to go with that. It's a 2-bit style of artwork, a colour scheme. I think. Yeah, you can pick different colours for the game, basically. This game has a really... a lovely kind of unique look. The audio's gone very quiet again. Let's just turn the sound up. There we go. I hope that's not deafeningly loud for you. That'll be a pain if I have to edit that again. Yeah, the presentation of this is fantastic. It's a detective game. We have got to kind of uncover. We've got to figure out a mystery, a murder. And we've got a lovely inline tutorial here. Another thing I've been banging on about endlessly this year, besides title screens, is inline tutorials or in-game tutorials. Again, Pico 8's limitations mean that there's often not a lot of space left over for a tutorial. Now, tutorials are difficult to do well, so it's a kind of test of a developer's kind of ability, game design ability to have a good tutorial and that gets across the ideas, the mechanics of the game in a concise way. That's especially difficult when you're talking about a game like this, which doesn't easily kind of fit into a kind of the sort of typical genres of games that you see on Pico 8. You don't really have to explain the mechanics behind a scrolling shoot 'em up or a Metroidvania, because lots of people are familiar with that. This does a really good job of explaining what it is you're supposed to do. So we press the X key to take pictures of evidence, and then we can press circle to whistle. Now I'm on a controller, I'm going to try and get it right. There we go, we can whistle. And we can take photos of evidence. In Ghost Detective, your task is to solve a murder case through photographic evidence. It's a detective game. Every coloured object can be photographed, but not every detail is useful. Do you see how good this tutorial is? I'm just reading this out and it's telling me exactly how to play the game. Yeah, the presentation of this is top notch. It's got its own look to it. Again, it's even more limited than Pico 8's existing limitations because it's using fewer colours. But look at the animation, look at the particle effects. There's a tasteful amount of screen shake, and you can adjust that on the title screen if you find screen shake irritating, which a lot of people do. Anyway, ribcage. Every picture will reveal something new about an object, but you have limited pictures. So make informed decisions. You won't be able to examine everything. It's kind of got the what's the name for this? Kind of where you've got to do something in as few moves as possible. That's really great to see in a detective game. Sherlock Holmes didn't make his amazing leaps of logic by examining everything in exhaustive detail. He used his intuition and his deduction, dear Watson, which you are expected to do in this as well. It's a detective game. Deal with it. Yeah, this is it's so different as well. Like I say, it'd be very easy. I could have probably made a top 10 Metroidvanias list for Pico 8 this year. I wouldn't be able to make a top 10 list of adventure detective games because this is the only one I played. It's different. It shows off Pico 8's strengths, and it's a really good game to boot. You need to go and check it out. I've spent the entire time talking about this game on the opening screen. Let's get into the main part of the game so I can kind of show you a little snippet of what the rest of the game is about. We are in a kind of apartment and someone has been killed. Let's have a look at this. A chalk outline. The victim. The autopsy report hasn't come back yet, but the following was clear. Victim confirmed as Ethan Blum, 42, male. And we are in, presumably, we're in Ethan's apartment, and we need to work out what was going on. A to-do list? Glass shards. Glass shards on the inside, as if someone had broke in. Like I say, this is a detective game. You're expected to use your detective skills. The way that the kind of scenery and the objects are highlighted is very clever because, like I say, this is using a limited colour palette, which makes creating the scenery even more challenging because not only have you got Pico 8's low resolution, but you've even got fewer colours than normal to illustrate what it is that the player is looking at. So the way that this game does that is really effective. It's such a fun little world to explore. And it's a really different game. I just want to show you the rest of it. It looks so good, this game. Just go and check it out. The graphics, the music, the presentation, the gameplay. It's all here. And like I say, I think this game might have gone under a few people's radar. But it's not going under your radar because, well, you're watching me play it and tell you that it's good. Go and check this out. This is another debut game as well. I think this is Snowbird's only game that they've made for Pico 8. It's like, Snowbird, please make more. We want to see more of your games. This is great. Anyway, let's see what's coming up next. What are we up to? We're up to G. So what could be next, do you think? What's on your list? Well, you're going to find out in about 3 seconds. It's Into Ruins by the developer called Ericb. Now, I've just learned something interesting about Ericb. He is an indie developer based in Canada, and he worked on Cuphead. You heard of Cuphead, right? This is one of the best things about Pico 8, or the Pico 8 community, I should say. You've got kind of what I would call kind of real developers, not just bedroom programmers, but, you know, actual people get paid to do this. You've got those people rubbing shoulders with your bedroom programmers in a big friendly community where everyone plays each other's games, and it's just really nice. Hashtag Pico 8 is one of the best things about the Bird site, which might be in flames and dead by the time you get to this video. It was one of it is or was one of the best things about Twitter, and lots of Pico 8 developers, lots of people in general are moving over to Mastodon, and it looks as though Pico 8, hashtag Pico 8 over there is going to be just as strong. Pico 8's got a fantastic community, and yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way because it's always worth reiterating that point. I think it's one of the best things about Pico 8. Anyway, we're talking about Into Ruins, which is this lovely game by Ericb. It is a roguelike, a traditional roguelike, one might say. Or is it a traditional roguelike? Is it the Berlin interpretation of roguelikes, which is like incredibly restrictive? I'm ignoring that. Look, we'll just get into it. It's a dungeon crawler, okay? We're on a hex grid, which isn't kind of typical in roguelikes, I suppose, but it's great. It's just a great game. It's a fantastic example of a dungeon crawler. You've got a menu system. Menu systems, I have first-hand experience of trying to make a menu system. It's a living nightmare. I found it to be that. So anytime I see a game with an effective menu system, I'm at once in awe, but also very jealous. Anyway, this just works. We attack in traditional roguelike style by just running into the enemy, and attacks happen. We've got orbs, which we can use to kind of... Let's just use an orb. We don't know what the orb is going to do because, again, we're playing a roguelike. This is kind of like the potions or the spell scrolls in NetHack, if you've played that. I think other roguelikes have this mechanic in as well. You've got to find out what something does by just using it. This could kill us. This could be a fireball spell. It could do nothing. Let's find out. It's the Orb of Gravity. I believe this lets us fall without taking damage, I think. As you can see, the movement and the animation is brilliant. It's so easy to play this game. RPGs on Pico 8 can be very tricky because Pico 8 has a very limited resolution, as I've said multiple times. The limited resolution means that it's harder to put effective menus into your game. You can't fit a lot of text on screen in Pico 8. So that makes game genres like RPGs very difficult to pull off. I mean, I'm waiting for somebody to have a go at making a Football Manager style game on Pico 8, which is just basically a giant spreadsheet. Pico 8 would not lend itself well to that genre. But yeah, same goes for RPGs. Text-heavy games are difficult to pull off well. This does it really well, though, because of how good a developer Ericb is, I suppose. Oh, we've got an item. Let's equip that. Oh, we don't know what this might kill us as well. Cloak of Defense. Good, it's not going to kill us, but these rats might. Oh, the rats seem happy to just ignore us. So you can see the way that we move through the world is so easy. Hex-based games, again, can be quite difficult to navigate and play. Not just in Pico 8, just in general. I can often find hex-based games, until I've kind of got into them, until I've kind of like played them a bit and got for the feel of it, they can be quite hard to pick up. Just think about if you've ever played Fallout 1 or Fallout 2. How long did it take you to get used to the hex grid? Be honest with yourself. Anyway, we don't have that problem in this game because... Oh, what have I just done there? That may have been a mistake. This game perfectly captures the gameplay of roguelikes. As you can see, exploration is... Well, there's fog of war in this game. There's exploration. There's enemies to fight. There's lots of dangerous things that can happen. We've got turn-based combat, which, as you can see, is very fun and very tactical. It's a really well realised dungeon crawler in the roguelike style. I would highly recommend you check this one out. I will try and get onto the next level before I move on to the next game, because I'm just setting myself that challenge. I've got slow fall. I think if I remember correctly, each time you go to a new level in this game, oh, it's just there. Is that the exit there? The hole. Yeah. There we go. That was easy, wasn't it? The hole opens up below you. Jump down or don't jump. Well, if you don't jump, then you're not going to progress throughout the game. So we're going to jump down. We've got slow fall though, so we land nice and safely. Otherwise, we will take a little bit of damage. This is an incredibly well-produced, really tightly designed game. Again, a lot of the games I'm picking out in this list just feel really well designed. You've only got limited space on a Pico 8 cart. You have to be very kind of selective as to what elements of the game you put in. Pico 8 lends itself well to kind of simple arcade style games. More kind of complex games you can make on Pico 8, you just have to be clever about it, and this is a fantastic example of that. Into Ruins by Ericb. Go and check it out. Thank me later. So we were up to I. We skipped H. What's the next one? What could it be, I wonder? What letters are coming up in the alphabet next? Do you know the alphabet? Do you need me to help you with that? No? Okay, let's see what the next one is. Next up, it's Pico World Race by Pac9. This is a pseudo 3D racing game, and it's possibly the best racing game on Pico 8. If not, it's definitely one of the best. This is a good game. I reviewed an earlier version of the game, and it's been updated since, so this is the latest version that I'm playing here, 1.2. It's a game by Pac9 with help by the RoboZ, who is a developer that I have already covered on the channel. Can't remember off the top of my head which game it was. Masters of the Universe? Anyway, RoboZ is a real wizard on Pico 8, and he's helped Pac9. Do you see what I mean about the Pico 8 community? See how good they are? They work together on this, and the game it's just fantastic. Let's get into it. So this is a pseudo 3D outrun style racing game. It's incredibly smooth, and there's so much on it. One of the new additions actually in the latest version is a custom race. Now I've not tried this out yet, so I'm wanting to see what this looks like. This promises. I'm going to choose Nepal as well, because look, we've got snow effect. No, I think I'll pick Japan, because I think Japan looks really cool on this game. This is like a roguelike procedurally generated racing game now. Who would have thought it? Yeah, so this custom race adds in randomized races. I'm not sure how the seed thing works. What does that number go up to? Whatever. And yeah, we've got, it won't be infinite, but it'll be an enormous number of potential races that we can have now. We've got updated graphics as well, courtesy of the RoboZ. Yeah, this is, let me just turn the sound up a little bit, because it does feel quite in fact, no, let's leave it where it is. Let's not get silly. Yeah, this is an incredibly smooth pseudo 3D racer. If you've played Outrun or any kind of game similar to this, you know exactly where you stand with it. The fact that it's at 60 FPS gives it a kind of arcade port feel. In my first computer, which I was given off from my aunt secondhand, was an Amstrad 6128 Plus. And that came, the pack-in title for that was Burning Rubber, which was a sort of similar style of game to this, except the frame rate for that game was, well, it wasn't 60 FPS. It's so smooth. I'm driving exceptionally poorly today. Don't drink and talk about games, people. Oh, the new card designs that have been added in, by the way. How cool is that? I wish I could stop hitting the back of this guy. Yeah, this is like I say, one of, if not the best racing game on Pico 8, and there is some very good racing games on Pico 8, by the way. Yeah, just go and play it. It's so much fun. Since I reviewed it, the draw distance has been upped. I'm not sure if I think those backgrounds were in before. I think. We've obviously got new car graphics, so when I played it, all the cars had the same kind of look. It's all been updated, and it's so much better as a result. The graphics, this is one of the games that I could pick on the graphics alone. It's always nice to see what people can kind of pull off on Pico 8. Obviously, we've got another one coming up which does something similar, which you can probably guess what that might be. But in graphical terms, it's really nice to see what people can squeeze out of Pico 8. Obviously, you've Poom looms large and casts a very long shadow in Pico 8. That's the remake, the demake of Doom on Pico 8. To give you an idea as to how clever that is, that's like getting Doom to run on a NES or a Famicom or whatever you want to call it. This isn't quite on that kind of level, but like I say, the gameplay in this is so good. I want to see what this new snow effect looks like, so let's just try that. Can I have lower curves as well? Because I was crashing a lot in that. Hills, no, I like hills. Let's have lots of hills because it kind of shows off the 3D-ness, doesn't it? Oh, this is so good. There we go. That's a lot easier now. Don't have to be so worried about slowing down. The racing action. Oh dear, the racing action in this game is really good. You can see there's those pickups that we can pick up. We get awarded points, as I recall. I'm not sure what they do in the custom race. You see when I was on the world. Oh, look at that! You take off after the. Oh, it's so good. Oh, this game. Oh. Warm, cozy feelings of fun arcade racing games playing this. Yeah, this isn't Gran Turismo. This isn't a driving simulator. This is arcade racing action, which is what we want, or what I want in this case. Yeah, Pico World Race by Pac9. Again, I think this is a debut game. There's lots of like debut games that I'm featuring this year. So much for not crashing. I think I have. Oh dear, I think I've crashed less. The trick with playing this game is to let off the accelerator every now and again. I think yeah, you could use the brakes as well. That might help. It's a racing game, but you know what I'm like for not being able to do two things at once. Anyway, give this game a look. It looks so good. It plays so well. It's just nice. I love it. Let's finish this race before we move on to the next game. I couldn't find any socials or anything for Pac9, so if you want to leave them a nice comment on the Pico 8 BBS, that'll be very much appreciated. You can go and follow RoboZ though. Oh, there we go. Oh no! Oh, that's just the first lap. Oh my god! Right, I need to move on. I need to keep a good pace on with this. Otherwise, we're not going to be finishing this video series. Even though, just one more corner. Did I say this game's addictive? Anyway, yeah, Pico World Race by Pac9. Go and check it out. It's a fantastic pseudo 3D racer. Very much worth your time. So we're up to P. I mean, this is Pico 8. There are going to be a lot of games that have got Pico in the title. Here's one. What's the next one going to be, I wonder? Let's find out. I keep doing that after every single game now. I've got to think of something else to do. Come on, what's the next game? It's Picokaiju by Spoike. Oh, I was looking forward to talking about this one again. This game, I think it was technically released right at the end of 2021, but I only did the video on it on the 7th of January this year, or 2022. Because it'll be probably 2023 when you're watching this. Anyway, yeah, this was like the first game that I did in the year, and I'm thinking, wow, this is what a start to 2022. Oh, I've been waiting to talk about this game a little bit more for a while. So let's get into it then. Picokaiju. It's a roguelike, but you're a big stompy monster. It's right then. So as you can see, there is a kind of limited colour palette thing going on. There's little splashes of colour very effectively used. We've got a rather peaceful looking city here, haven't we? And we've got a little instruction at the bottom of the screen. Press circle or O, whatever it is, to roar. We are a stompy monster. We kind of look like the dinosaur from Chrome's 404 error page, aren't we? Yeah, so we get to stomp around and I'm already noticing some changes to the game since I last played it. There's damage on the roads now where we've stomped. We get points by stomping buildings because we are a big stompy kaiju monster like Godzilla. The presentation of this, the black and white graphics, it's to kind of evoke the kind of classic Godzilla films of when did they come out? In the 60s, I'm guessing. Anyway, it's black and white at least. And what can I hear there? I can hear the original Godzilla music playing. I think that was added as well. Lots of additions made to these games that I'm covering this year. This is a roguelike with a lovely kind of upgrade system running throughout. That's a theme actually in a lot of the games that I've picked this year, having really good upgrade systems. So yeah, each level up we get to select a new ability to improve, and I think as we get further in we get more options as well depending on what kind of path we've taken. This is such a well-designed game. Anyway, let's pick something then. What shall I have? HP up, regen per raw max. I think energy was important. I'm going to go for energy. We see bigger buildings are worth more points. We've got another level up straight away. Here we go. This is what I wanted the energy for. Zap. Shoot lasers from your eyes against enemies along a column or row. Range 5. So, we haven't got any enemies to attack yet. Oh, there are some people there. We can eat people. We're a kaiju. Oh, there we go. There's our first enemy, and they've scored a hit on us. The police car. Let's see. Let's use our zap then. Can I grab and chomp? Oh, there we go. I can't do a zap yet. Oh, no. Right, can I grab? No. I think there's been lots of additions to this. I can't remember if that's how grabbing worked. So yeah, in true Godzilla style, we can. Oh, that's why I can't do a zap. Stomping buildings uses up energy. We need to roar to get our energy back. Oh, this game is so good. It's such an imaginative. Who'd have thought of turning Godzilla into a roguelike? It works so well. Oh dear, out of energy. Let's oh, there we go. Raw. Can I throw that car? Or have I eaten the car? Chomp. Right. Let's pick up. Can we throw? Let's throw that. Does the throws bounce? I can't remember. Let's find out. There we go. Look at that. So you can kind of chain together kind of little combos like that. Once we get further in and we get attacked by more enemies, we get to use our zap to take out lots of things all at the same time. Let's eat some people, these rioting people, chomp people. Oh dear. You get to live out all your destructive fantasies in this game, which I approve of. Let's stomp some more buildings. There we go. We got a new level up. As you advance further into the city, and I've barely made it out of the sea here. I'm still in the opening area. The further you get into the game, the more enemies start to attack you. You start to get attacked by tanks and helicopters and things. I'm not sure if there's anything else in the game that I've not managed to get to yet. There's a lot of depth to this game. Again, I like to see Pico 8 games which pick up or there's a lot of depth to them, where there's a lot of things to pick up and learn. It's nice to see that squeeze into such a small game. It's a really good sort of test of your kind of design skills, I think, if you can cram all that gameplay into a Pico 8 cartridge. Oh, what should we get? Energy up, I think probably more HP would probably be good, wouldn't it? I am going to have a hard time not just keep this. I've already done 5 minutes on this game. Oh, it was such a good start to 2022 was this game. Oh, no. Oh, I love it. You need to check this game out anyway. It's Picokaiju by... There we go, there's a helicopter attacking us now. Picokaiju by Spoike. Go and follow them on your favourite social media site because they're always posting cool Pico 8 related stuff. And yeah, this game was... I think this game has been featured on the Lexloffle forums. It was definitely featured on Newgrounds, and rightly so, because this is an excellent game. Go and check it out. Oh, this is... I want to carry on playing this, but I can't. It's great anyway. Oh, it's so nice to see roguelikes it's so nice to see kind of like the roguelike genre be kind of expanded and explored, because there are a lot of very kind of similar roguelikes. This one though really stands out as different. I mean, look, just the abilities that you get to unlock. I've said enough about this game. It's great. Go and check it out. I'm not going to do that stupid thing. What's the next? We're up to P now. We're getting nearer the end of the alphabet. What letter comes after P? I don't think... No one's done a remake of Quake, have they? No? Okay. Let's see what the next one is then. It's Return of the Slimepires by Sophie Houlden. This is another Metroidvania that I've picked for my list. I'm entitled to do that. This is such a good game. Let's just show you it. I'm going to start a new game so I can show you the beginning part. You want to play the rest of this game because it's one of the best. Now, I did not have any categories for this, but if I did have categories, this game here would have won Best Cart Art. When you make a Pico 8 game, you can have a kind of splash art game. God damn it. You can have a picture that goes on the fake little cart down here that you see. You can save Pico 8 games as ping files. So it's a picture, it's a ping picture of the cart, but the code of the game is in. It's very clever. Anyway, that artwork there is really good. The best of the year, probably. So let's get into the game, because that isn't a category, unfortunately. You can have that as a kind of bonus award or something. I don't know. Yes, this is a Metroidvania. So we've got running, we've got jumping, we've got a large interconnected level to explore. What I particularly liked about this game, for a start, I liked the delightful little player sprites. And I liked the kind of depth of the level design in this. There's a lot crammed into this game. Once you've completed the game, you kind of want to play it through again. And you probably want to keep playing it through again after that as well to kind of unlock extra things. There's lots of kind of extras in this game. It's been a hot minute since I've played this, so I can't remember. There we go, we have to shoot the thing. Yeah, there's a lot crammed into this game. If you get the game... Oh, here's a nice touch as well. Look, the spikes, but you can run through the spikes. They only hurt if you fall onto them. Just a little touch there. It's nice to see that. Anyway, if you get this game on itch, if you buy this game on itch to support the developer, which I highly recommend you do, because if you like any of these Pico 8 games, just throw a little bit of money in the direction of the developers. Show them your support. Show them how much these games mean to you, because they're fun. It's so much fun. Anyway, you can support the game developer over on itch. If you do that, there's a lovely 2-hour video where Sophie goes through the design kind of process for the game. Very enlightening, very interesting. Anyway, I need to try and show you more of this game. There we go. Oh no. If you touch an enemy in this game, you get turned into a Slimepire. Now, when that happens, you kind of unlock other kinds of abilities, and this is where the kind of multiple playthroughs route comes in. Once you've beaten the game kind of the normal way, there's kind of challenge challenge builds. It's not really a build. There's other ways of playing through the game, which lets you unlock extra endings and things. So again, this is a game where there's kind of a depth to it, which is nice to see in a Pico 8 game. You can play through this game once through in about 20 minutes or so, depending on how good you are at this sort of game. I say that, I think my first playthrough was probably well over half an hour. I can't remember. But point is, you can play this game relatively quickly, but then after that, you can kind of play through it again, trying to do the more challenging kind of routes through the game, if you like. And that's just really cool to see. Again, these Pico 8 games, they're kind of like, a lot of them are kind of small, kind of coffee break kinds of games. It's nice when you've got a little bit more depth in there, and I respect the ability of the developers to be able to cram that depth into such a small amount of kind of space. Pico 8 games are never bloated. Yeah, this is such a good game. It's so good. I'm just saying the same things over and over again. Oh, it's so good, but no, this is really good. Yeah, I'm not doing the deathless run through this. I'm apparently not doing the no kills run either, the pacifist run. Maybe I should have attempted that at some point. There's a lot of challenge in this game if you're up to it. and my platforming skills are probably not up to it. There's even a story in this game. Again, Pico 8 does not lend itself well to text-heavy games, so anytime you see text in a Pico 8 game, it's been put there deliberately. And yeah, this does a really good. This game does a really good job of telling a story in kind of like in a few bits of text in a kind of efficient way, efficient storytelling, which I like. It's nice to see that in Metroidvanias. One of my favourite Metroidvanias, Axiom Verge, does a similar thing of telling a really cool story, but not in kind of lots of waffly detail. Has this been changed? I can't remember this part. Maybe I've just forgotten it. Anyway, we get running. Oh dear. I'll show you what happens when you turn into a Slimepire, because I haven't showed you that yet. If you get to a checkpoint before that happens, you don't turn into a Slimepire. But now I'm a Slimepire and I have different abilities. You can see I can fly, which lets us get to new areas. Look, there's exploration. It's a Metroidvania. We get to get to the same locations in different ways. There are multiple routes. Yeah, so now, because I'm a Slimepire, because I am one of the enemies, or are they, I get to explore things in a different way. But look, you can't access everything if you're a Slimepire, so just isn't it good to see the depth in this game? This has a classic Pico 8 look as well. We've got no kind of restricted colour palettes in this game. This is using all of Pico 8's 16 colours, and it's using them really well, really effectively. Pico 8 games often have a kind of certain look because of the colour palette. It's an excellent colour palette, by the way. And yeah, it's really nice to see kind of a classically good-looking Pico 8 game like this. This is Return of the Slimepires by Sophie Houlden. Go and check it out on itch. Leave a lovely comment for Sophie as well to tell them what a good game they've made here. Anyway, let's move on to our next one. I think, are we on to our penultimate game? Yes, we are. What's the next one? We're up to R in the alphabet. What comes after R? I'm doing the same jokes again. Look, what's the next game? Tell us! Do you really think I was going to do a best of 2022 list without talking about Undune II? Of course not. This is Undune II by Liquidream. This game is like the Poom of 2022. This is to put that in context. People are like, what? Right, Poom, the demake of Doom on Pico 8. How did you cram Doom into Pico 8? That is the question which Poom answers. Well, how do you cram Dune 2 into Pico 8? This is how. Yes, this is like the technical achievement award. This is like the kind of how the hell did they do this game on the list. This is a demake, a port, whatever you want to call it, of Dune 2 Battle for Arrakis, the Westwood classic, the kind of first kind of popular RTS. That's real-time strategy for all of you younglings who don't know what an RTS is. This old people used to play them. Anyway, this is Dune, so let's get into it. You can play this with a mouse, unsurprisingly. It's right, look. It's Dune 2. All the graphics are crammed in. Now, one of the interesting things about this game is the sheer number of people involved in some way in making it. Obviously, Liquidream is the kind of main developer person who posted it at least, but there were so many contributions made to this game by various people, including Zepp, the guy that makes Pico 8. So many contributions that made this game possible to kind of bring it all together, because there is a lot of complex coding and whatnot in a game like Dune. Let's get into it. So for a start, we've got enormous sprites which have been crammed into... I mean, let's be honest, this is a multi-cart game, unsurprisingly. I think each... I can't remember off the top of my head how it works, but like the title screen, the strategy map there, 2 carts on their own, I think each kind of level is there's many carts in this. Same as how there was in Poom. That's how they get around the kind of limitations. I mean, it's not... Some people might think, oh, that's like cheating. You know, you're not use 1 cart. But I mean, you used to get multi-disc games, didn't you? I mean, like, wasn't Final Fantasy like 3 discs on the PlayStation? You know? Baldur's Gate was like 5, 6 CDs if you had the expansion pack on PC. So it's like that, isn't it? But yeah, this would be like 14 or something carts. That'd be a real box anyway. Let's get into the game to show you it. So I'm not going to read through all this because I'm going to be here all day otherwise. It's Dune 2. If you played Dune 2, you kind of know what's going on. It's Dune. Yes, this is the bit where we pick a house. Only one house will prevail. So who are we going to be? The Atreides, the Ordos, or the Harkonnen? Or is it Harkonnen? Anyway, let's be the noble Atreides. There we go with this, what's he called? Cyril. Lovely Mentat Cyril there. What a dude. I'm going to skip through this because I want to show you. There, that little loading icon there, that's where it's loading a new cart. Look, this is Dune. Now, the incredible thing about this is, I mean, look at those that little man there is like, what, 3 or 4 pixels? Pico 8's low resolution, again, doesn't lend itself well to a game like Dune. Strategy games, you want that resolution, don't you? You want to have lots of little tiny units to wander around. The little tiny units in this case are literally 3 or 4 pixels. But this is Dune 2. There are a few concessions to kind of modern UI design. Dune 2 has a very unwieldy UI. Westwood were inventing the RTS when they made Dune 2, or the modern RTS. I'm not going to get into what the first RTS is, but, you know, they didn't know all the rules. They didn't know what necessarily worked. Dune 2, by modern standards, has an awkward user interface. Undune 2 kind of sticks to some elements of it, but kind of it goes a different direction in others. I mean, one of the key differences, or one of the key things that you might expect in a game like this, which isn't present, are you can't select multiple units. Many of the new source ports of Dune 2 let you select multiple units, like in a modern RTS. Dune 2 never let you do that because of technical limitations, maybe. So Undune 2 doesn't either. It does kind of change the gameplay, to be honest. If you could just select your entire army in one go and just do a giant attack move to the enemy base like it's in StarCraft or something, that would kind of take away from Dune 2's style of gameplay. And this is kind of a sort of somewhat faithful port of the original. So yeah, Liquidream didn't go out of his way to reinvent the Dune 2 wheel. Yeah, I did spend quite a long time talking about this. There are lots of people talking about Undune 2. This is one of the best games on Pico 8 of the year. It's one of these games which is like a kind of incredible technical achievement, and it's Dune 2, so it's a good game to boot. I didn't pick too many kind of remakes and things this year. But I couldn't not include this, could I really? As you can see, everything that should be here is, we've got the little strategy map down there, we've got multiple units, we've got pathfinding, there's some kind of an AI. Again, I'm not sure how good Dune 2's original AI was anyway, but we've got AI in this game, and again, this is all fit inside a Pico 8 cartridge. Even if it is a multi-cart, you can't just keep loading things in. There's a limit to how much game can be running at any one time in Pico 8. The extra carts are mostly just adding extra levels in. Everything else has been crammed into that tiny little space that a Pico 8 cartridge allows. Incredible. So yeah, if you like Dune 2, if you just like Dune, or if you like RTSs, you need to check this out and just to marvel at it. But yeah, it's also, like I say, it's also a good game as well. I'm not going to be able to get anywhere near the enemy in this because I've been talking for too long and gushing about how this game works. But yeah, if you want to see how clever a Pico 8 cartridge can be, then just take a look at this. I mean, just cramming the UI. Oh, we're getting attacked. Oh, look, there we go. How convenient. I can show you some of the combat before we move on to the final game. So yeah, look, the way that you order units is different to Dune 2. Dune 2 had these little, like a character card, if you or a unit card, and you had like buttons at the bottom for like attack, defend, or patrol, I think, were the options. There was one that made it return to base. That's not how modern RTSs kind of work, you know. You expect now to be able to kind of click on units and things with left mouse button. Oh, there's some more enemies we can attack. So, you know, I think all the units, not all the units are in. I don't think Liquidream managed to squeeze in the super weapons. I don't think. The game has been updated since, so I might be wrong on that. It might have been when I originally reviewed it. The super weapons weren't in the game, I don't believe. And I think there is like a shortened campaign as well. But even the campaign levels are kind of similar. They're recognisable from the original. Fantastic achievement. I've already gone on too long about this. Just go and check it out. It's you know, this is like one of the biggest Pico 8 games of the year. It deserves to be talked about a little bit longer. That's what I'll try and avoid stroking the mic. Undune II, everyone, by Liquidream. What's the last game? Let's find out. Okay, we're right at the end of the alphabet. We've got a nice little bop going here. Right at the end of the alphabet, right at the end of my video. My last game in my list of best games in 2022 is Witchcraft TD by the developer called Unikotoast. It was so close between whether to pick this or Buns Bunny Survivor by Unikotoast. 2 is knocked it out of the park twice this year with some incredible Pico 8 games. Buns Bunny Survivor, which is basically it's similar to Vampire Survivors, if you're not aware. That was featured on the Pico 8 BBS. This game was, I think it was front paged on Newgrounds, and it was featured, or there's a tweet anyway by itch.io highlighting this game. So this is a game that's hopefully bringing more eyes to Pico 8. Which is partly why it's on this list. It's also on this list because it's a damn good Pico 8 game. It's a tower defense game, which sets it apart from many other Pico 8 games. I don't think I've seen another tower defense game on Pico 8. That's part of the reason that I picked it. I believe you can play this with the mouse. Yes, it's another mousey game. You can play it with the controller as well. But if I use a mouse, then I've got an extra hand free to gesticulate. Anyway, this is a tower defense game with an interesting kind of randomised twist. So here's our witch character. We've got a portal up here where enemies come from, and they're trying to go around the garden path, as they do in tower defense games, and get to your other portal here to attack it or something. Look, it's a tower defense game, you get it, okay? The interesting thing about this, when we place towers down, they are randomised. So we don't get any control over what towers we place as such. We can also pick the location, but the actual individual towers are randomised, but then we get to upgrade them based on what other towers we already have. So because we've got 2 bone towers here, level 1, I believe we can combine them, yes we can, into a level 2 bone tower, which is a skull. So again, like several of the other games that I've picked in my list this year, there is a lot of depth to this game. The same can be said actually of Buns Bunny Survivor. I should probably have had that as an honourable mention, shouldn't I? But I didn't really want to toot my own trumpet there, because I did manage to submit some music to that game. Unikotoast liked my little tunes and put it into his game, which we're very much thankful and appreciative for. But anyway, I picked this game instead. So here we are. We've got depth to this game, is what I'm saying. So let's open the portal. How do we do that? There we go. Start the wave. So, as seems to be Unikotoast's kind of style, we've got lots of vegetable-based enemies in this game, which is really fun. I think upgrading that skull may have been a mistake. I think at this point in the game, I just need rate of fire rather than upgrades. But having said that, we seem to be doing okay. So, as you may expect from a tower defense game, there's a mixture of kind of direct damage, splash damage and things. It's a tower defense game. If you've played one, it'll be very familiar to you. But like I say, I haven't seen, I'm not aware of at least any other Pico 8 tower defense games, so that makes it stand out. The execution of it is so good. Again, I always kind of go for polish in Pico 8 games. If I see a real polished Pico 8 game, that's immediately going to get my attention, because I'm trying to find games here that you can show to someone who isn't already a part of the Pico 8 community and say, look, Pico 8 is really cool, look at this game that you can play, go and play it. Yeah, this is so cool. Between levels, Again, this is similar actually to Buns Bunny Survival. We're getting like a kind of an authorship here. We're getting like a kind of a style to the developer. We have these little upgrades that we can pick off, kind of penalty upgrade things. Each wave we can kind of, well, you can see, you can read, can't you? So which one should I pick here? Plus 10 strawberries this wave, but we get plus 1 coin for each kill. That sounds good. Like I say, I'm not very good at tower defense games. I say that for nearly every game I play. But each upgrade, I'm sure there's like an optimal strategy through this game. I haven't worked it out yet. But yeah, there's a lot of, like I say, a lot of depth to this game, a lot of things to learn and figure out, which is what you want to see in a game like this. That went well. So as you can see, we haven't got any we haven't got any pairs of towers at the moment, so we can't place any more. Well, we can't do any more upgrades. We can just place that one tower, I think. I should pay attention actually. You get kind of, there's bonuses sometimes for selling certain towers, so you can kind of eke out more of an advantage by selling at the right time. Let's see what we get here. Destroy a random level 1 tower, but you get plus 1 coin for each kill. Don't fancy that. Minus 50 coins will increase market prices by 20. Immune to poison. I don't think we have any poison, do we? We get plus 3 to crystal life. Okay, that sounds good. I think we have poison. That I may have just balked my game there. Anyway, another great game. I'm going to leave this kind of playing and kind of do the outro at the same time, so you get to see a little bit more of Witchcraft TD than you otherwise would. So, is my list of best games of 2022. Oh, there we go. We can sell things now. I could sell that for some cash. Should we do that? How do we do that? Sell. There we go. Yeah, this is my list of best games of 2022 for Pico 8. Go and check them all out. They are all very much worth your time. You will not be disappointed by any of them. Like I said, I had 3 honourable mentions at the beginning because I couldn't narrow this down to 10. I could have made a top 20 list and still have probably not scratched the surface. It was such a strong year for Pico 8 games in 2022. Like I say, I'm posting regular videos where I'm highlighting new Pico 8 games to try out. You know, there's a whole world of Pico 8 games out there that you should try out. And check out the developers as well. So many cool people to find in the Pico 8 community. Like I say, hashtag Pico 8 on Twitter, on Mastodon is a lovely place to be. So much creativity, so many good games. Yeah, it's really easy making a best of list because you're just basically spending, you know, however long this video is going to end up just saying how good everything is. But yeah, Pico 8 everyone. I hope 2023 is as good for Pico 8 as 2022 is. If you've got any fun Pico 8 games that you would like me to do a video on, please let me know. I'm always open to recommendations. I just want to play good games, you know. Look at this boss. This guy's taking all the punishment. Anyway, thank you very much for watching all of my videos. The channel's done really well this year. So many new people watching the videos. I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you're enjoying these games as well. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching these silly videos that I make. And yeah, here's to 2023 then. I didn't plan the outro at all. I have no idea what I'm going to say for it. That sounded okay then, didn't it? Now I'm just waffling. Oh well. Thanks again, and I'll see you in 2023. Bye.